I want to get started right away so that we can teach you about this topic that is such a repeating topic and recurring challenge for a lot of people, the time management and productivity. So I'm going to expand your time management and productivity skills by sharing with you what has been working for our students. We are Forbes recognized coaching school. We're in over 40 countries. We reach 40 countries in over 3 years. In about 3 years, we have 300 coaches that we train. I'm not the founder of the school, but I'm a master strategist with the Wholeness School. So I work very closely with leadership, and so get all the, the knowledge and the training that I need to bring it to you, and really, as a presenter, as an instructor, start helping you shift towards what you really want to do. I used to be a marketing professional, as I told you, and I really, enjoy teaching this because I'm a mother of 3. I have 2 girls, 7-year-old, 5-year-old, and a 14-month-old baby. And I see how impactful when we grow, when we apply these strategies, when we continue to be a never growing individual, our children, our nephews, the people that come after us, the new generations are going to benefit. And so in a world where we're facing a lot of challenges, when you grow, you're impacting your micro world, and you're also impacting the world. So never stop growing. That's one of the things I always say. Personal development is so important. And so that's a little bit about me. I do have a ways in which you can connect. Instagram is one of my favorite places to hang out. So Estefania Viso is my handle. Join me there. Follow me. I would love to get to know you. DM me. And also, we have a quiz that you can take that is really helpful in helping you figure out where you're at right now and where you want to go as far as your life in general, all the key areas that drive your wholeness. And you can take that with the link that I have on the screen. And then if you have any questions or need any help or need any resources, we have so many trainings on decision making, skills like dreaming, skills like managing critics. Like we really literally have a whole skill school with trainings, masterminds. So if you have any questions or want to expand on a specific area of your life and need support, we have lots of training. You can email me, ask me any questions, and I will send you as many resources as I can. And we also have a postpartum course that just came out. We focus a lot on women. We do have a men's school as well, if we have any men in the room. However, we are just really dedicated as a school to make sure that men and women have the skills to navigate today's world, because it really is an interesting world and an interesting time to be alive. And we want you to thrive. And so we're grateful that we can do that, right? So let's get right into the topic. How many of you, raise your hand or write something in the chat, struggle with managing your time? Feel like you never have enough time. You always run out of time. Like the 24 hours of the day are not enough. You're always in a rush. I don't know how many of you, because I've been there, and also maybe feel that you're not productive enough, that you never get enough done. So raise your hand. I see some hands raised. And let me tell you, you're not alone. Most of us are there. A lot of people's biggest challenge is time. And time is definitely one of the resources that we cannot get back. So we definitely have to be very strategic and really work on this right away when we notice that there's a bottleneck, that there's an issue, because guess what? When we're not getting more time, right? Money we can lose, we can make, resources we can get, we can give, but time is it's limited, right? So the first thing I want you to think about in the context of time, before I give you strategies on how to time block, on how to write your agenda, just know that today I'm not going to do that. I really am not. Maybe at the end I will touch on a few strategies, but I want to go into the depths and the root causes of what allows you to have more time or have a better sense of time and to get more done without sacrificing your wholeness. I'm going to go into the depths. I'm not going to just do the surface. That's one of the biggest and most beautiful things that we do at the Wholeness School. We don't like fluff. We really work on the root causes. We really go into what is the actual problem. We don't just cover the symptoms. Like, when you go to the doctor and they give you a pill, to manage your pain. It's like, okay, that's just managing one of the symptoms, but it's not going to the root cause. We're going to go to the root cause of why you have these issues with time. And I'm going to read the chat really quickly because I want to make this interactive. If you ladies can turn your cameras on, I would love to see you. So I know I'm talking to a person. I see Donna. And it really drives the energy of the room, and it helps me see like how you're doing. And if I'm like really hitting the right points, and if this is being helpful to you. Thank you for turning your camera on, Vicky. And so
it makes such a difference. I just want to say, when you're a presenter and you can see the faces of everyone there, you have a much better connection. And I know speakers appreciate that very much as well. Otherwise, we're talking to like a blank screen.
Exactly. And honestly, if you're eating lunch, you know, it's okay. You know, you can show your lunch. We'll enjoy watching you, but it's okay if you finish and open your camera up. It also helps you focus more, because usually when we have our camera off, and I've done this too, I'm telling you, I do it in my meetings. I turn my camera off and then I get distracted, and I have that, you know, permission to get distracted because no one's watching me. So I'm wasting my time because I'm multitasking instead of focusing on what really matters, which is what we're focusing on. Okay. So you all, I see John said, I'm still listening, but still working. It's okay. So do your best. Okay. That's all I say. And so cameras on, as many of you as can do it. We're going to focus on the depth of the root causes. And that's going to really lead to, first of all, knowing what is the vision that you have for your life, right? And this is a big question. Of course, we're not going to answer that today. It would take us time. It really requires you to sit down and just like allow yourself to say, where am I headed? A lot of us never have the time to sit down and say, never make the time, or we do have the time, never make the time to say, what is the life that I want? Like, how do I intentionally design my days, my weeks, my months, and my years? And so a vision is the starting point of learning the skill of time management, right? So clear dreams, clear goals equal clear priorities, right? Discipline follows the dream. When you know the dream, when you know the vision that's pulling you, that's when you know the vision that gets you out of bed in the morning, if it's fun enough, if it's exciting enough, that the discipline is going to follow, because you're going to be like so excited about what you're headed toward, what you're creating, what you're achieving, that then you're going to really be willing to do whatever it takes to start managing your time better, to start being productive, because you care. I don't know, I love this example because I think it really hits home for me. I don't know, you will tell me if it hits home for you. Have you ever noticed the difference of how fast and productive you are when someone's coming to visit you and your house is not tidy? You can be very productive and fast at cleaning up that mess, right? That was there for a few days because your friend's coming over or your mother-in-law is coming over. Talk about that one, right? Mother-in-law. And like, but no, if you don't have a motivation, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have an intention behind it, you could leave that house untidy or that area of your home untidy for days or weeks. When people are visiting, look at you, so productive, right? And so you can see how motivation and a clear intention, clear strategy can change the way you show up, right? The way you come and do things and really behave. And so that's why priorities, clear goals, clear dreams are the starting point to really having great time management skills. Okay, does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up. I know that I clean fast when people are coming over. I do, I definitely do. And so if not, I take my time. And so I always tell my clients, give yourself a deadline. Like, give yourself a time, set a timer to do the dishes, set a timer. I work with a lot of moms, and then with dads, set a time to do the things you do in the house for the kids, for your wife. Set a timer. You could take 3 hours doing things that could have taken you maybe 30 minutes, right? One of my coaches really helped me. My routine at night was taking me an hour. I was taking a whole hour to bathe the kids, to brush their teeth, to put them in bed. And then she told me, could you shower them and brush their teeth in under 15 minutes? And honestly, I could. I was just taking my sweet time because I didn't have a strategy. I didn't have a clear intention of my night routine. So I want to bring this into your work life, into your personal life, and try it. Same thing with work. I could produce maybe 60 reels and videos for my content in 2 to 3 hours if I plan it, and then batch produce those and send them to someone who can post them on social media, instead of producing one video a week and having to do my makeup every time, So it's really about thinking strategically. But the first step to that is knowing what is it that you're trying to accomplish. So we need that first. Then we get into mindset, and then we get into skills, how to create a weekly, daily schedule. But I'm going to go deep into this. Okay. So with that being said, we have here a question, and I really love this activity and this exercise. I love seeing your faces. Thank you for turning your cameras on. We don't manage time, we manage priorities, right? So of course, priorities are huge. However, in order for us to know our priorities, we have to kind of go forward into the future and really ask ourselves, like, when I turn 100 years old and I'm celebrating, imagine that you're doing this, it's your 100th birthday, you're having a big party because you reached 100 years, if that's something that you want to reach, right? Or you can say, when you're in your rocking chair, whatever you want, visual you want of the end of your life, right? 100th birthday is fun for me. I'm just imagining a big party, my family, my friends, lots of food. I love this one, right? I want you to look fast forward in the future and ask yourself, how do you, when the movie of your life plays in front of you and people are talking about you at your party and saying how awesome you are, what do you want to hear? What do you want to have accomplished, right? It's so important to look at it that way, because it gives us intentionality behind everything we do, because every minute counts, right? We're here for a purpose. We're here to really shine our light. We're here to help others, serve others, love people. And if we don't take advantage of this time, then it's just really such a tragedy, right? So what impact do you want to create in the world, right? It doesn't have to be at a large scale. Not all of us are called to be a Martin Luther King, a Mother Teresa. Like, some of us are called to serve in our micro environment. So what is it that you want to create in the world? Sometimes your biggest contribution is not being rushed and stressed out, and being able to be present to your family, be present to your coworkers, and smile. But if we're always rushed and we don't know where we're headed, we can't really create that, self-image and that contribution in the moment. So what do you want to hear? I want you to write down a few things of what life would you want to have lived when you reach, 100 years, when you reach the end of your life, right? And so once you have that clear, does anyone want to share? If you want to share in the chat, I would really love to hear that. If you have any ideas of how you want to be. And honestly, for me, I want to have been someone who contributed a lot to the world, who was kind, who was present, who maximized her potential. Like, that's how I see the end for me. And being able to know that I loved people, I mattered, and I lived well. And so based on that vision, right, which is unique to each and every one of you, when you have that clear, you're going to start setting your priorities the right way, because you're going to know what's going to be the thing that makes you move, right? And then I see Marina just said, I want my family to say I was happy, present, and impactful. What a beautiful vision. And you can take time to really describe and plan your life little by little. We also have another workshop where I go into this vision boarding and creating your vision, which is so much fun. But with that, we can get started. Jody said, made a difference in the life of those who have crossed my path. Yes, and you can make a difference in people's lives with your attitude, with your words, with your presence. And so think about it. When we don't manage our time and we don't manage our priorities, we're rushed. We're thinking not the right way. We're not the nicest, because I know when I'm rushed, I'm not the nicest, right? And when we are not clear where we're headed, we don't have that ability to contribute, because we're just thinking about ourselves. And guess what? At a chemical level in our bodies, we are stressed, and all the blood is going to our extremities. We are cavewoman, cavemen when it comes to the way we behave. And we're not really being our loving, creative, and amazing selves, right, that we can be. So we want to really work on that. So we don't manage time, we manage priorities. And so once you know what's the purpose of your life and why you're here, then you can say, well, like Jody said, I want to make a difference. And then we have Marina said, I want to people to remember me, my family, as a happy person, as a present person, then you want to list out, and I want you to do this right now. List out your priorities. What are your priorities in life? Health can include spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. We, in the women's school and the wholeness school and the men's school, we focus on 8 key areas of life, which is health, family, friendships, contribution, intimacy, environment, and wealth. So you can use these or have your own if you want, but I'm just giving you this to help you just figure out the areas that matter most. And so I want you to rank these areas in order of importance. So for me, health is important. Starting with spiritual health for me is so important, because if I'm not connected to my creator, I cannot, we are 90% spiritual beings, right? And so, and it's proven by science, it's not, no matter what religion or spiritual practice you follow, we know that we are spiritual beings living in a human body, right? And so I need to have that really well connected with my creator, with God. And for me to just really serve my family and be healthy at a mental, emotional, physical level, this is personal. I want to prioritize my spiritual health, my relationship with God. Then my mental, my emotional, and my physical health all need to be in check. Then my family, right? Within my family, personally, my husband, my relationship with my husband is my priority, because if him and I are good, then my kids are going to be good, right? If I just focus on my kids too much and forget about my husband, then something's going to, not be in harmony. So that's the way I see it. I'm just giving you my examples because I want you to just get ideas, but you get to choose what are your priorities, okay? And just rank them in order of what's most important to you, right? And this changes. This is not in order for me here, but I think I would probably put wealth at a higher place, because we can do a lot when we have wealth of time and money to help other people. And it just depends on how you want to organize it, okay? So rank these in order of importance. And I'm going to give you maybe like 20 seconds to you can put numbers next to them and write them down. Okay. Awesome. So, does anyone want to share theirs? Does anyone, do you feel like this is helping you really like rethink your life? Oh, I'm falling. It's so good. And I love doing this work, because a lot of times we just go, and we're just living, just going and going, and not really stopping and like zooming out and seeing like our life from 10 feet high, right? And just looking at what matters, right? So there it is. I gave you those 20 seconds to do that, and I'm going to keep going. So what areas of your arena, this is the arena that we use, like I told you, to kind of measure, how we're doing, and make sure we grow in integrity and in wholeness. And so what areas that you ranked in the previous slide or exercise do you feel that need more attention in your life? And you can check that. We also have a quiz that you can take so that you can actually get a result, and we give you a whole recommendation of what you can do to get that area out of a challenging place into a thriving place. And so does anyone want to list any areas that you feel like where time management is really constraining you? So is it your family life that's being affected by your time management skills? Is it your health? A lot of people struggle with their health, and because they say, I don't have time to work out, I don't have time to be healthy. And they just have this mindset, and that really drives their behavior. So I want to hear from you what areas you feel like are the most affected or affected the most by your the time management skills you have up to now. And so I see, because I work from home, I struggle turning off work. Okay, yeah. So there's different things that so it might be when for you it's that, right? And it's really, I'm sure we can always find a quick solution to that, Marina. We can always talk after this, and I can help you out. And so you have that identified, right? And so I just want you to have a clear idea, because every area of your life, and this is why our school is so unique, every area of your life is connected, right? So if my health is suffering and your health is suffering, that's going to have a huge impact in your wealth, right? It's going to have a huge impact in your relationship with your kids, because if you have pain, if you have stress, if you have low energy, you're not going to be able to show up as the mom or as a dad, or as even the sister or friend if you don't have kids. that you could be, right? And so family is connected to health, health is connected to wealth, friendships affect our wealth, and they affect our capacity to contribute. Our self-image is connected to our environment. And so I want you to see that you're not a disintegrated being, in that when you work on your time management skills, when you change your mindset around this area, every area of your life is going to be affected and impacted in a great way by that, because everything's connected in our lives, right? And so I see ditto regarding health. I'm trying and have changed, but need to do much better. Yeah, and you can. That's really great, Donna. The good thing is progress. Small progress is still progress, right? So I love that phrase. So Shirley said, I love this. I wrote health, family, intimacy, friendships, wealth in order. Very nice. But just realize that although health is the most important, I have not invested much in this area. This is a great realization for me. Shirley, this is why it's so amazing to just stop and be like, okay, let me just look at my life. Let me just manage my life. And what don't measure, we cannot manage. So that's why it's so important to have dreams and have goals, and just start measuring and managing, right? So definitely so important. And we can always dive deeper one-on-one, because I know we don't have that much time today. So now the work, it's going to be based on time management and productivity. We want to know, where are you now, right? Right now, you are managing your time in a certain way. I'm managing my time in a certain way. We can all grow. I believe that no matter how great you are, there's always growth. And that takes humility to say, right, we are humble and we say, I'm growing. And even if I'm the greatest time manager and I'm so organized, I know there's always something we can do, right? And also humility is not, oh, I'm so horrible, I cannot do this, because that takes to the other extreme. So right now we're going to take responsibility and ownership of, hey, I know that I waste a lot of time dilly-dallying when I need to really go or get ready or focus in my work. And that's causing a bottleneck in my productivity. So right now, I want you to just sit with yourself, be honest, and say, I need to X, Y, and Z to manage my time better, right? And I want you to write it down and just say, I don't want you to shame yourself or blame yourself. We're basically just taking responsibility. It's real. And one of the hardest things I see with coaching is just taking responsibility. A lot of us like to always, and our brains do this to protect us. So it's not that we're bad or good. Is that we like to say, but it's just my husband, it's just my wife, it's just like the kids, my boss, and it's everyone but us, right? It's so easy to blame others, right? But it's just time to really say, what can I do? What can I own to start changing, but without shaming or guilting yourself, because no one taught you how to do this. And so if you didn't know how to manage your mind around time management or get the skills, it's not your fault. But now it is your responsibility to do it differently, especially with health, right? Which is such an important thing, and so many other things. So we're taking responsibility without guilt, without shame. That does not come from our loving, creator, loving selves. It comes from somewhere else, the ego and things that we don't want to hear. And so we're just going to go and move it to something better, right? So now, once we know where we are, we can say from a 1 through 10 in my time management skills, I'm at a 5, let's say that. And that's why I'm going to have you take the quiz later, so you all know where you are in every area and you have a score. And then the second step is, where do you want to be, right? Where do you want to be? Like, what's the fun vision and hope that you have for your life? Maybe right now is not the best time to do that, because some of you are working, you're not in a relaxed state where you can really dream. Most of us are, stressed in a chronic way in today's world. And a lot of times it's not easy for us to dream, because we're just, we're in fight or flight most of the time. And so that's why I always do a 1 session. It's like a whole hour where I relax you, where I work with you, and I help you just settle down, ground yourself, and start dreaming, right? From that place. And so where do you want to be? If you can think of something that you want to accomplish, or how you want to be when it comes to how you want to feel when it comes to time and your schedule, tell me, right? Tell me in the chat, write it down. Say, I want to feel calm. I want to feel at peace. I want to feel confident. For me, I'm always looking for peace and harmony, right? In my day. So I want you to figure out where you want to be when it comes to this specific thing, and write it down. And then maybe what's your hope? Maybe you hope and you wish you had 1 extra hour to go for a walk with your family, or one, maybe even 30 minutes to sit down and eat a meal in peace, or to cook your meal, or to buy better food, or to work out, or to sleep. A lot of us really need sleep and we just don't get it and we don't make time for it. So that's me. I had to make time for that because I was one of those that couldn't stop, And so steps to get you there. We're going to talk about the steps to get you there, but first we have to know what you want. So Donna said, peace, no worrying, calm and rest. It's amazing, Donna, how quickly you can get that peace, how quickly you can get that less worry by just shifting your mind. And I can help you with that if you want. And so let's see, let's go to the next one. So now that we have kind of given you a picture of what we're going to do and what I do with when I work with you, it's when it comes to time management, I want to know, what's your biggest challenge? What's your biggest challenge? Write it down now in your paper or your phone, whatever you're typing with or writing with. And then if you want to share in the chat, because I want this to be very interactive and really, helpful. So write it in the chat and let me know, what is your biggest challenge? If you could say one thing that you want to change when it comes to time management and productivity, what is it? Say no. Okay. You know what helps you say no? When you're clear and excited about what you're doing and your goals and your dreams, you can say, hey, this is not aligned with where I'm going. No, but we don't know where we're headed and we don't really know that clearly. We're not excited about it and we don't protect that dream and that goal for like the life that we want to live, right? Then we don't say no. And then there's other work that we have to do for rewiring that, Marina, like self-worth, people pleasing, which are things that are wired. And I can also help you with that. Okay, so write it down. That's a great one, saying no. And I do have scripts on how to say no too. I can teach you. We teach our students how to actually respond to people and say no in a polite way, which I really love. When I learned this, I loved it from our founder, January. And then Vicky said, feeling like others are controlling my priority list or changing my to-do list for the day. That's a good one. That could be changed really quickly when you practice, when you develop your communication skills and be more assertive. That can be changed really quickly. And when you're clear what you're trying to accomplish and why you're accomplishing it, right? Because if you know that your to-do list matters, because when you stay aligned with what you're doing, you're going to serve more people, you're going to be more impactful, you're going to make more money, you're going to help, help your family, right? You know where you're headed and you know why you do it. That's going to help you and give you the strength to be firm in your to-do list, in your schedule. And then also to have fluidity within your schedule, because life happens, right? And it's okay. And sometimes we want to go out of our way to serve others, to help others, but just to have that balance between helping and also sticking to our goals. Does that make sense, Vicky? Okay. So then Jody says, allowing. Okay. Tell me more about that. Waiting until the last minute and not planning ahead for what is needed when I get to the project. Okay. So Colleen, usually waiting till last minute is a form of managing stress. So buffering. So we buffer, we let things go because we just don't want to deal with the stress of actually doing the thing. But then that builds more stress because we're getting running out of time. So it would be a matter of working on that and really getting to the bottom of what's making you buffer. Okay. And what thoughts are causing that stress, which we can do with situational strategy. And then allowing interruptions and distractions to throw me off track. Okay. Not keeping boundaries in place. Okay. So important. Makes sense. Yeah. We can always just talk about it a little more, you and I. So, okay, perfect. And so the second thing is, okay, we know what's the biggest challenge. You have that challenge. I want you all to write it down, have that challenge in front of you. And then now we want to figure out what is our objective, right? So what am I trying to accomplish? And I was actually listening to a training today, a CEO training, and this applies the objective thing applies to businesses, to individuals, to moms, dads, everyone. What is your objective? Like, what are you trying to accomplish that it's gonna allow you to detect any bottlenecks, anything, any time wasters, any energy drainers in your life? So when you set out your day in the morning, you got to say, well, what is my objective for the day when it comes to work? What do I want to accomplish today? And then once you know that, and obviously, let me just pause for a minute. Your objective for the day is going to have to be something that's going to feed whatever you're trying to accomplish that week, that month, and that year, right? So when you know what's your plan for the next 12 months, which is what I love to do with my clients, and I can do with you as well. It's like, okay, what is my year? At work, I want to accomplish this. At home, I want to accomplish this. Okay, so then you break it down into months, and then you break it down into weeks, and then days. So today, based on my vision, based on where I'm headed, what's my objective, right? So my objective today is to get a nap because I really want to rest and I want to be a happy person. And my objective is to exercise, and my objective is to get this project maybe advance a little bit at work. So once you know, like, you wake up, you're like, my priorities within the bigger scope of my priorities are these micro priorities today. Then you can say, okay, boom. Okay, I'm going to focus on working out in the morning because that gives me energy for it to make it through the day. Then I'm going to take a nap at night. And then within that, I'm saying take a nap at night. That doesn't make sense. Taking a nap in the afternoon, or really maybe doing a 5-minute meditation if you don't have the time to nap. And so then when you know where you're headed, then you can be strategic. And when you know your objective, you can say, oh, I'll move this here and I'll move this over here. And then I just fix it. And then I delegate this and I eliminate that. And that's how you are going to be playing that puzzle game of your time management, right? But you first need to know what's your objective for the day. Every day should have 3 top priorities that you're going to say, okay, today you will not accomplish all the things in your to-do list in one day. And if you try to put yourself against that standard, that's going to leave you very frustrated. And I've been there. So I'm saying every day have top 3 priorities. What doesn't get done is going to get done the next day. And then you are going to organize your stuff based on urgency and importance and all that. Of course, we don't have the time to do that, but I can always teach more on this, like based on the Habits of Highly Effective People, okay, by Stephen Covey. So what is your objective for the day? So maybe we can test this today. We can try this today. What's your objective for the rest of the day? You can always do that. Sometimes when I don't write my objective in the morning, and it's maybe like 11 or 12, I'm like, I didn't really like set my priorities for the day. I just started my day without intentionality. What I do is like, okay, let me just set an objective and a priority for the rest of the day, whatever's left of the day. So we still have from 1 o'clock till night. So you can always practice this today. Okay. So is this making sense? Is this helping you? I see my biggest challenge is doing certain things versus saying I should. For instance, going for a walk instead. Wait a second. I lost it. Going for a walk instead of saying I should go for a walk. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So it's just action. You just have to train yourself to take action. And this is going to come from rewiring your mind. So let's go into a deeper place. So we know that we have to have clear priorities, clear objectives, so that we know what in the world we're managing, right? We cannot manage our time if we don't know where we're going and why we're doing it, right? And so that's the biggest driver. But then we have to know that our minds are programmed, right? Like, so the way I brush my teeth, the way you type on the keyboard, the way you drive, the way you speak, the way you react to comments, and when your partner says something you don't like, the way you react, all that stuff is wired. And I've seen myself and I'm like, I just probably must have learned this from my parents, because I sound just like my dad or like my mom when I react. And it's funny because like when did I learn this? And it was all wired growing up. If you were raised by whoever you were raised by, you probably have a lot of their ways wired that, and you don't even know how your family manage time, if they were always late, they were always early. That is all literally programmed in a big computer called your subconscious mind, which is what drives 95% of what we do. And so all of that is there, and all that wiring and that way of being about time and productivity and thinking and the beliefs that you have about time are driving your behavior. Okay, in my behavior too. So we're all in this together. I'm not telling you I've mastered all of this, but a belief is literally a deep conviction of what you hold to be true. It is a powerful driving force that will either expand or inhibit your success in any area. So if I believe that there's not enough time in the day for everything I need to do, and that's my recurring thought, or I saw my mom saying that my whole life when she was raising me, or I saw my dad doing that my whole life, guess what? That's wiring my subconscious, and that's driving my behavior. So I want you to start paying attention to the recurring thoughts and internal dialogue that's going on in your mind, because that's going to give you it's going to give you a good window to what could be going on and what could be driving your behavior without you even knowing. Okay. And the thoughts are just a guide, and then you can always go into the belief that's driving the thought. Okay. And so our subconscious mind, this is just like a quick neuroscience lesson, and indulge me for a second because I love all this neuroscience. So glad we live in this age where we have so much information. So the mindset and the skills you need in order to manage your time are driven by what's wired in your subconscious. So there was a time in my life where I had my second daughter, Isabella. I had moved to a bigger house, and my business was starting to take off, but I was doing more like in-person events. And so that took a lot of my time, and I was very overwhelmed. And I remember that I always tell this story. When I thought about time, I just always said, I don't have time. And I remember like how I was like always frantic. And I had been a coach, mind you, for 3 years, and I still wasn't getting it, right? So imagine if I had the information and I wasn't doing it. Imagine for people who don't know this. So I realized one day that I had to do something. And I was listening to an interview on YouTube, and someone had written a book about time management, and they were saying that the biggest issue and the biggest roadblock to managing our time is our mindset. And it's the fact that we always say we don't have time is the thing that tells our brain that we don't, and it just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I'm like, is she talking to me? Because I was always saying I don't have time, and I was shoving the girls in the car seats and shoving things, and laundry was piling, and I wasn't asking for help, and it was just like a very hard time of my life. I remember that I would cry to my friends when we like hung out on Friday nights, and I would be like, I just don't know what I'm doing, and work was piling up. And so when I hear this interview, I realize, of course, I'm always saying I don't have time. And guess what? There's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system, which helps you focus on what matters to you. And I won't go into the whole explanation, but it's basically when you buy a red Honda, you start seeing that red Honda everywhere. Has that happened to you? Raise your hand if it's happened. And so really, I was saying that. And so my brain was showing me evidence that it was true for me. And I was always running out of time, and I was always stressed. And so until I realized that all that was wired, and then I remember now, like a few months ago, I heard my mom say it, and I'm like, I was just repeating the same thing that she was saying, like her whole life, because she was always in a rush. And I tell her, Mom, you don't have 3 kids anymore. You can just relax. But she still has that wiring, right? Of like, I gotta go. And so I started changing. Then I heard the lady talk about it, and she said, you need to start shifting the thoughts and the beliefs. And then I said, I'm going to start saying I have plenty of time to do everything I need to do every day. I started saying that, and kid you not, I find this lady on Instagram who teaches time management. She's one of my friends and my coach now. Her name is Lisa Canning. I highly recommend you follow her. She has 8 kids. I think actually she has 9 kids now. And she runs a six-figure business. And I'm like, I need to learn from this woman. And I literally changed my mindset. And then because I was focusing on, yes, I do have time, my mind allowed me to see an opportunity, a solution, because I was now in the positive. And my reticular activator focus on, I have plenty of time. And then I find her, conquer your calendar. I take her course. My life has been a completely different life before and after, right? And so I changed my mind. I went into my, this was not like a subconscious programming, like I'm saying here, but I changed my mind, and then I learned a skill. And when you combine a new mindset and new skill, you get different results. And so what we have to do, and then that helped me really go deep into, what are my beliefs about time? What are my beliefs about what do you call it, like, productivity and all this? And so my behavior was being ran by all these beliefs, right? I had not obviously rewired that belief yet, because it takes time to rewire, but at least I noticed, and that's what we're doing today. Then what we need to do is always go into that subconscious mind. We can do it through hypnosis, meditation, and really know what is wired there that is holding me back, okay? And what is affecting my dreams, my stories, my choices. And so the beauty of this is that neuroplasticity, which is the process of rewiring our brain, allows us to be a totally different person. Like back in the day, in the 60s, 70s, people would think like, oh, you were born this way, and that's, you were not good at math, or you're not good at, different things of development in a human being. They used to think, if you were born like that, that's how you're going to stay. That's it. But science has shown us that our neurons fire and wire, and we can always learn new skills, and we can rewire beliefs. Just like people in, I think Donna has worked on this, and many of you have been exposed to this. People with brain injuries can learn to walk again, to talk again, depending on the injury. And the brain is so amazing. We can also use this for the way we see the world, the way we rush our time, the way we manage our priorities. And so it's really good news, right? So you can replace old beliefs that will no longer serve you, and really rewire new beliefs that will unleash your capacity, right, for success. And so this is good news. And so I want you to write down a limiting belief that is holding you back. Like I was saying, I never have enough time. I never have enough time. And back in 2018, when I had my second daughter, and then stopped saying that and started saying, I have plenty of time to do everything I need to do. My brain started shifting focus, and that's where attention goes, energy flows. And so my life started changing because I started changing my mind first and believing what I was saying to myself. So scripts are big, affirmations. We call them scripts in the school. They're huge. And I see that all the time with my clients. When they change the way they think, their life begins to change. And so what is a limiting belief that you have now? Could you write it down on your paper, or could you write it down on the chat? I see here, Marina said, stopping the negative reinforcement is so hard. And it is hard, Marina. You know why? Well, let me tell you, it's not hard. It's just, the thing is, you've been doing it for so long that at a neurological level, it's just the way it's just programmed in your mind. It's just like automatic. Like, remember when you started typing on a computer when you were younger, maybe you had to look for every letter and it just took you time. Or when you started driving, then your brain just created neural connections, and now you do it without thinking. Same thing happened with what you're saying, stopping the negative reinforcement and just thinking negative. You've been doing it for so long that your brain optimized it. Now what you got to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it, just a little bit of it, as much as I can, because we only have like 13 more minutes, is to break that old wiring of focusing on the negative, or really like reinforcing I don't have time and all these thoughts, and then building a case for a new belief that's going to replace the old. Okay, that's what we do. And so, especially when you're raised with having a negative mindset instead of having a positive, yeah, I'm telling you, I had to do that so much, and focus on that so much of my life, because unfortunately, I did, receive a lot of my mom was very protective, and I love my mother. She did an amazing job, and It's just she was always very protective. She was always, be careful with this, be careful with that. And for me, that's my go-to. Like, I have to be careful. And that just really makes me focus on what I don't want to happen. And guess what? That creates stress. And so all that stuff that we're carrying, we have to start shifting away from if it's not helping us. Okay. And it took a long time to wire. So now we have to be patient in the rewiring process. Vicky said, I'll never lose weight, have enough money, have enough time. Those always never stay. Oh, I'm so glad you caught those. You just put them out in the light, Vicky. That's so good, because now we can work on those. And I want to recommend a book to you all. It's called Limitless by Chris Crone. And it really, I mean, we teach this as well, but the way he teaches it is really great. And his meditations and his courses are really good in rewiring. We also go through a rewiring process and for the person as a whole, which is even better. So I can always give you more trainings on that. And so never say, Miss Vicky, are you my long lost sister? I know, right? It's like, why do we have to generalize the bad? Like, never gonna lose weight. Let me tell you, it's not that hard. If we go to the roots, like we said, we're gonna go to the roots. But I'm so glad you shed light on those. So now we have an old belief, right? Let's grab Vicky's and just plug it in here. There's an old belief that is being sustained by evidence, right? I don't have time. I never have time. I'm never going to lose weight. I'm never going to be a person that gets to places on time. I'm always going to be late, because it could be the never ones or the always ones, right? I'm always late. I'm always a mess. Oh, I just cannot stand when my kids say I'm a mess. I'm like, that's illegal for me. I don't want to hear that. You're not a mess. And I don't want to hear any of you say that, because it really wires in your mind. So there's the old belief and then the new belief, right? So we want to make sure that we find evidence of why the old belief is not true, because our brain needs information to debilitate that belief. In neuroscience, it's called atrophy. We have to create atrophy and just make sure that that old connection is no longer like used, and we want to replace it with a new one. We cannot eliminate habits. We cannot eliminate limiting beliefs at a scientific level. We can only replace. You know, it's like those people who stop gambling, but then they go to the bar and just hang out at the bar and just like create a new other habit. We want to, we want to always replace, like if you're trying to stop gambling, you want to replace gambling for playing golf or playing something else instead of trying to eliminate it, because then another behavior is going to come in and take the place of that if we don't replace it, okay, with a good behavior. And so same thing happens with beliefs. I have plenty of time when I focus, right? So it could be a new belief. And then what we need to do is create evidence for that. And this is just one step of the way in which you rewire, but I want to give you as much as I can today in the time that I have. And so you could say evidence about this is busy people get more done because they understand their priorities. So I have plenty of time, and this is true because I see people who are busier than me, and they only have the 24 hours that I have as well. So they must be doing something, maybe prioritize. They must be delegating. They must be focusing more. Maybe we all have 24 hours, right? It's just how we use them. With the right skills, I can be more productive. True. What can I delegate? What can I eliminate? What can I optimize? So there's always evidence that we have to build for those beliefs. And so that's how you start just really wiring a new belief. And just because we are almost at the end of the hour, skills and strategies that I can give you. But obviously, remember, the mindset is the number one most important part of changing your reality, right? When it comes to time management. And then skills are a great part, because we cannot think our way to transformation, right? Like I can't just think I'm a great time manager and never learn how to manage my time practically, and not take action. My life is not going to change. It takes that combination, new mindset, and backing that new mindset up with action. Okay, with, hey, I'm gonna be more disciplined. Hey, I'm gonna create my vision so I know how to say no. Hey, I'm going to write out my day. And so it's a combination. That's why our school has been so successful. It's like mindset and skill set. And so time blocking is a huge one. Really knowing what's going to happen in the morning, midday, nighttime, and really creating priorities around, just plugging in your priorities within those time blocks. Tiny habits. Remember, it doesn't have to take you an hour or 2 hours when it can take you 15 minutes. So some people do their morning routine in 20 minutes. They pray, they meditate, they move their body in 20 minutes. I'm like, I don't know how you do it, but it really works. I don't work out more than 30 minutes. I do, and I didn't know this was possible. I do like 20-minute workouts, and I've been able to be, maintain my body well. And now I need to do other things to continue growing in this area. But I do supersets. I do 3 supersets. So it's just 2 exercises that get more done in one chunk of time. And in 20 minutes, I'm done with my workout and I leave. Because I have 3 kids. I don't, I'm not going to take a whole hour working out. So some days I do go for a walk and I do more things, but you can optimize. So things you do in a long period of time, you can do in shorter, tinier habits that can help you just get more done, right? Then 5-minute hack, write out your day. Literally, it should take you just 5 minutes to say, this is what's happening tomorrow. From 9 to 10, from 10 to 11, 11 to 12. It's okay if it doesn't go specific, like exactly how you planned it. It's fine. But at least you gave your brain a moment to dump it all out, and you planned it and you prioritized. So writing out your day, it could be on a napkin, it could be on a piece of paper, it could be on your phone. It doesn't have to be a perfectly, perfect planner. What matters is that you write it out, you strategize your day. And then if you have to move things around, which you will have to do, which I think every day I have to move things around. At least you know what was expected and you know what needs to be done, okay? And then create a rhythm of life. My goal with my students in my masterminds, actually starting one soon, is that they create a rhythm of life, right? In the morning, you wake up and you do, whatever your routine is, and it just like things like flow. Not to say there won't be any interruptions, but that that there's a rhythm of life. You transition from the morning to the afternoon and the afternoon to the evening. And that's a beautiful way to live, right? So that's my goal for them. And that's something I've been able to achieve in my life. And it changes with the seasons that you're in. Summer, depends. You have little kids, big kids, but it really helps. All right. So that's all I have for you. I know that we're almost at the end. So I'm going to share with you my screen. Do you have any questions? I see the chat. We have to break negative belief and expectation cycles. Yes. Like our brains really will expect what we expect. So if you tell it it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. It's really proven now by science. So we have to really start shifting that. Any questions, everyone? Let me know if you have any questions before we finish.
We can unmute if we need to. If anybody wants to put in the chat, please feel free to do that. And also, did you put your information, Nia? Did everybody get that? Because if you want to put it in the chat.
Yes, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. I'm trying to copy.
And also, I have Nicola is also going to, I think, jump on at the end here and also put her information in the chat if anyone needs it. I love what Vicky wrote, by the way. I'll never lose weight, have enough money, have enough time. Those are the never statements. And they all wrote comments about the never. It's such a negative thing we do to ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's something we've modeled from the world, from our families. And when we're within that environment like that, it just keeps being reinforced. And then we just don't realize it until we become conscious and aware. And that's one of the biggest transformations, like knowing that you're doing it and taking a step back and saying this needs to change. So that's great. So if anyone wants to do like a dream session, talk to me more, needs more support, just share your email in the chat and I'll reach out. My email is also there, so it'll be an email from the Wholeness School, and I can always help you out and send you any resources that you want.